Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Las Vegas, Nevada. Are you ready? TheBoxingVoice.com. Welcome to Las Vegas, baby. We taking over.
Ness Heyman.
Mr. Vegas, you are Mr. Las Vegas.
I get in every fucking gym. They want me there.
TBV presents a ring walk with Danny.
Ring Walk Danny.
Owen Bama, only in America.
Because I fight for the people. I go for you and you and you. All these beautiful kids is here.
We turning TBV into the Hot 97 of boxing. Keep talking from Vegas.
You already know if it's a big fight, I'm pulling up. Chicago, we in here.
Bang, bang.
From the cotton fields of Alabama to the casinos of Las Vegas. Mama, I made it.
We up early, baby. The grind don't stop. Gilly the Kid ain't gonna be the only one around here doing big shit.
You are now locked into the Boxing Voice live from Las Vegas with Nesta Gibbs and Ring Walk Danny. This message was brought to you by SDS Promotions.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the
body punches?
When I was hitting him with body punches, and I heard him, actually he was crying in there.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice. And Solo Dolo, Scarface, No Manolo, we are here to discuss this weekend's fights. Weekend recap for William Zepeda and Victor Morales, who got the upset. Shout out to Victor Morales. Shout out to all of you guys that tuned into the betting show and paid attention. We definitely told you Victor Morales was an underdog to bet on. We bet on him. Unfortunately, for some of us, we bet him by decision because Morales wasn't known as a puncher. And obviously, he got the upset knockout over Diego De La Hoya. Some of you sent me your screenshots of your bets, and some of you did, do money line and parlay that with William Zepeda by TKO or KO, the way that we said. So shout out to you. Another week making money. And if you really tuned into the betting show, if you really had your notifications on, not only did I give a out of sport recommend, but then I came back and showed you that I bet $200 on bare knuckle boxing. I seen that Mike Alvarado was fighting James Brown. James Brown was like fucking 25. Alvarado's been shot. Now he got no gloves. He been getting cut. So you already know we made the motherfucking money. Just saying. Know what I'm saying? Tune into my betting show, man. Stop being dumb, really, because it can't be greed. Because if you pay the $15, you make that back immediately. Like, look, if you'd have paid the $15, you'd have made it back right there. I gave you 2 picks. Just know that I said Victor Morales. Just know that I gave you an underdog. Victor Morales on money line was plus 200 on some betting sites. So, people be sleeping, man. They be sleeping on the kids' skills. They think I'm all yelling and cursing. You feel me? But we here to talk some boxing. We're here to talk this weekend's boxing. It was on the zone. Not a lot of fights, man. Not a lot of fights to discuss for sure. The first bout that I do want to discuss was Christian Caruth. He is a heavyweight now. I hope that they're remaining at heavyweight. When they came to Las Vegas, I had the opportunity of speaking to them. And by them, I mean, Christian and his father. And, they had been fighting at cruiserweight. But, I had told them, listen, man, you're a big dude, and you're super young. You should probably just, go ahead and be a heavyweight. They said no, that they were thinking long term, go to cruiserweight, win the title, then move up, become a heavyweight. And that makes sense. But this fight on Golden Boy was a heavyweight fight. And I don't know if that means he's going to stay in the heavyweight division. I don't know if they took that advice or not. But he did get the win. He got a knockdown. He looked good, from what I can see anyway. And he improves. Now he did go to distance, so as a heavyweight, that's not necessarily what is marketable, right? Like you want to be able to get your guy out of there. But he was on the preliminary cards. His name is Tristan Sweet Tea Calroof. He's 10-1 and 7 KOs. Yes, he did suffer one loss, and after that loss, he relocated. He was with Ronnie. Now he's here in Vegas training with Coach Bullet, the trainer of Rolly Romero. So, Tristan, did go to distance with Jonathan the Reaper Rice, who was 2-3 and 2 KOs. So, again, that doesn't look great, doesn't look impressive to not be able to knock out a dude with that sort of record. But again, I'm giving him a pass, as this was the first fight on paper with Coach Bullet. They were supposed to fight on the Ryan Garcia Tank undercard, and their opponent obviously, could not get approved or something crazy like that. And there you go. He didn't make the cut. So they pushed him to this Golden Boy card, which on this card, outside of the people that were fighting, Oscar somehow had special guests for this night, which included, obviously, Oscar De La Hoya was there himself, NFL free agent Jalen Smith was there, Jamal Charlo, the middleweight, Jamal Charlo, the WBC middleweight champion was there, Frank Martin was there, Floyd Schofield was there, and John Scrappy Ramirez were all on hand. So shout out to Oscar after a big weekend with Tank and Ryan, still out here doing, the grassroots with the small shows, developing fighters like Victor Morales, who got a big win. And look, anybody that's been watching boxing, a decent amount of years, technically it's not a big win over Diego. Diego was an underachiever. He was someone that he just had the last name. He just had the last name. He looked so much like Marquez. I don't know if anybody's seen that in him yesterday. He looked so much like Marquez. I can't believe it, because I hadn't seen Diego fight in so long, really. And when I watched this fight live yesterday, I'm like, wow, he's a grown man now. Like, he's a grown man with kids and married, and he doesn't even look like Diego De La Hoya, the prospect, anymore, which he still is being called Diego De La Hoya, the prospect. And my money felt secured once the commentators was telling me, oh, Victor Morales asked for this fight. He asked for this. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Vic asked for this? So, the beauty of being part of our Patreon and our YouTube members to get that betting show, is that that I'm going to use all my resources, man. So I know that Victor Morales was trained by Ken Porter once upon a time. And I called Ken right away to get the lowdown and the scoop. And obviously I know that he sparred Sean a lot. So I called Sean right away and got the scoop. Now, both me and Sean Porter thought he was going to get a decision. I thought unanimous, and Sean thought majority. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he'd score a knockout. Not because Diego is tough, not because Diego's got a solid chin, just because Victor's never shown me power. But, he went out there and he asserted his jab. He definitely was trying to show Diego that it was going to be a tough fight, whether they fought on the outside or on the inside. But in that second round, he just jumped on him, and he caught him with a lead left hook, and it was over. Like, Diego went down from that and really couldn't recover. El Tornado, a.k.a. the Tornado, which translates to Tornado in English, he jumped on him like a tornado and took him out of there. So he definitely fucked up the money for those of us that bet decision, but those of us that bet Victor by money line because we weren't being greedy and Victor was already paying a plus 200 as an underdog. Shout out to you and the betting. And for those of you that took my recommend on, obviously, William Zepeda by knockout, you should have parlayed it and you would have made some bread. But yeah, Zepeda obviously was your main event. And well, there was one other guy I do want to mention. There's a gentleman by the name of David Diamante. Excuse me. That's the commentator. I'm talking about David Dynamite Stevens, 13-0, 9 KOs. He opened up the DAZN broadcast with an 8-round super middleweight bout. It was supposed to be, all action. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania. David Dynamite Stevens is. But he went the distance with Marco Antonio Peribang, who's 26-7-1 with 17 KOs. And we all know Peribang. Like Peribang, most famous to me for getting destroyed by Golovkin and then immediately going 12 rounds with Darrell. So, the PBC haters were like, oh my God, Darrell's a bum. Golovkin destroyed this dude. Darrell went 12. So that is the highlight of Peribang for me. Now, David Dynamite Stevens is trained by Ronnie Shields, and, he could have looked better. He's very flat-footed, let me tell you, and he wasn't trying to be creative at all. Very conservative with his punches. No urgency whatsoever. I don't know, man. Like the way that he fought, if you go back and watch it, like I said, no urgency whatsoever. So it just felt to me like he was okay getting the win. And I wouldn't be, honestly. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a fighter, so maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but like, I would be ashamed to go the distance with Peribang. And that's what I'm talking about. Like when Golovkin destroyed him and then Darrell in his prime went the distance, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the dog, the puncher of the brothers. So this young dude who's supposed to also be a puncher, I don't know. I'm like, again, very conservative with his punches. He fights a real Mexican, and I'm not saying Peribang is not because he's just past his prime. But I'm talking somebody that's gonna put some pressure on him. I want to see what that's gonna look like. But another super middleweight player picked up the win, trained by Ronnie Shields. Judges' scorecard had a 78-73, 77-74, 78-73. So Peribang actually won a couple rounds. Other than that, there was a horrible fight with Frederick Lawson and Esteban Villalobos. I just didn't understand this fight. Frederick, I've never heard of him, and he's 30-3 and 22. And Villalobos, I've seen him once, but it was a good scrap. It was a good scrap. Villalobos was there to make that fight, and he really, really made the fight, dig into the body the entire night, but it did go the distance. And, Frederick Lawson, straight up and down, no special effects. He probably won't get me to watch him again unless he's in with a bigger name than himself. But on to the main event. El Camarón William Zepeda, 28-0, 24 KOs from Santa Mateo, Mexico. He definitely made a statement, destroying Jaime Arboleda in 2. Now, this was definitely a recommend on the bet to go the knockout, being as though Colbert got it done in 11. I obviously told my betting people, look, he's definitely going to do it faster than Colbert with all the punches that he throws. But to watch him do it was special. I like this kid. I know that we as a community are not exactly high on him because of the, fights that he didn't take that were offered to him with Shakur and others. But maybe Golden Boy, not maybe, definitely Golden Boy just thinks they need to develop him more. They don't think he's ready. I think it's not that they don't think he's ready. It's they don't think he's ready for this top champions. And I think what they're trying to do is wait Devin Haney out so that he could get a vacant title shot, because all up and down the telecast, the talk is that he's fighting Mercito Gesta next. So, where this guy should be fighting the top of 135, he's taking that sidestep to fight Gesta for no reason whatsoever. Because, bro, didn't he beat JoJo? So, like, y'all both beat JoJo. So now it's like the battle of the Golden Boy fighters that beat JoJo? Don't make sense, man. Shit don't make sense at all. So it surely tells us that Golden Boy is trying to, keep him undefeated so they can put a strap on him, because he got a little crowd. Obviously, I don't know what was the attendance. Let me see if my press release gives me the attendance, but they were cheering for him for sure. He had a lot of people cheering for him, but so did Victor Morales. I'm not seeing an attendance on this, which means they didn't do anything spectacular. Yep, don't see any attendance on the Golden Boy press release. Nope. They were at the University of Texas at Arlington campus at the College Park Center, but it did look, halfway decently filled. I seen a couple of empty seats and whatnot, but again, the point is that they were cheering for Camarón. So my opinion is they're going Mercito Gesta next. That's what they were saying on the telecast, and it's because they don't want to, have him go for a title shot with any of the current champions, named Devin Haney, and obviously all those contenders that are up there are too dangerous. That's why they didn't take that Shakur Stevenson fight. It's like, they might as well wait it out, is what they look like they're doing. Because, again, the talk of Mercito Gesta just makes no sense. From there, he should be going for something bigger than that. But I do want to say that we are going to be featuring some of our calls as shorts on our YouTube page moving forward. So, make sure your call is pretty good, because it might make the cut, We got a few already, and they should be scheduled for release. And, I'm sure some of those people that call in will be excited to hear their call get turned into a short. That being said, yeah, man, I mean, that's basically it. It was basically a weekend weekend recap, and all we really had this weekend was the Golden Boy card with a couple of prospects, and William Zepeda, who has some sort of WBA belt. Let me see here. Yeah, they didn't. Okay, the WBA Continental America's lightweight champion. All right. Well, shout out to William on the win. And, shout out to everybody that tuned in. Once again, we were just recapping the weekend. Phone lines are open if you did watch these fights, which I doubt that you did, but, Ness, the hardcore, certainly watched them and had to recap them. I see somebody right there on Blog Talk. I'll be with you in a second. Just going to pull up my sheet, make sure I get your name right. Twitter is open, as Discord. If you want to call in, go ahead and raise your hand or request on your respective platform. And, yeah, man, let's get this thing going. If there's any other hardcores out there like myself, be my guest to voice your opinion.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yes, sure.
Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters.
Big Boss, what up?
Yo, Ness, you can hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah, man. Talking about Zepeda. I watched the fight this weekend, man, against Arboleda. I don't even know how to say that shit. Arboleda or however you say it. But I ain't too high on Zepeda, man. I ain't never been too high on him. But then again, I only watched like 3 of his fights though. I ain't just know, you feel me? I ain't been on all on him. But with the fight against dude, he pretty much did what I expected him to do. He been getting all showcase fights, in my opinion. I don't really think they gonna put him in there with nobody who gonna actually be a 50-50 fight like you was saying. I don't That's pretty much why I think everybody ain't too high on him because he don't want to, you feel me, get in that water with none of the top dogs, and they just waiting on everybody, you feel me, to just get an easy title shot. But I mean, from an Oscar point of view, I don't blame Oscar. Shit, that's his fighter. He gotta do the best for him. But as a fan, I do want to see him in there with a top guy. Like I'm one of the guys who said there's so many fighters with undefeaters nowadays. You don't know who is. I'm gonna keep listening in. Y'all hit top dogs, subscribe button is on.
All right, champ. Well, thanks for calling on. Calling in. Big Boss, I'll actually let you know. You made the cut, man. I guess it's because you have a clear, connection or whatever, or great calls. But the editor, I seen a few, or actually heard a few of your calls that made the cut. We're going out to Joe Ray in Oregon. What's up?
Course out here right now, man. Shit, we holding it down, you know. But yeah, man, I was watching. I watched both fights. I watched that Victor Morales and I watched the Zepeda. And I mean, damn, bro, you know, I seen a lot of potential. I like Zepeda, man. Man, that boy just tore up that body, pretty bad. And I mean, is he somebody that's going to test one of these young lions? I think so, man. It's lightweight is deep. I mean, they got some killers out there, man. So I'm excited about that. And on a side note, Victor Morales, I'm out here in the Northwest, and he's out of here, Vancouver, Washington, and I actually got to meet his pops. And his pops was like, we were just casually talking. And he was just like, "Yo, my son signed a Golden Boy," and we're like, "What?" And so it's cool to see, his come up there. And man, these fighters, they do their thing, and it's all respect. And but yeah, man, I appreciate you, Ness, being out here, man, with these, with the hardcore fans, and we got you, man. I really appreciate, the show. You and Danny, hold it down, and it's all love from the Northwest, big dog. We got you.
Appreciate you, man. I
All right, big
appreciate
dog.
you myself, brother, because I don't watch any other sports, so I ain't watching no foosball today like the rest of America. If it's foosball season or baseball or whatever the fuck people watch on Sundays, so I definitely appreciate my hardcores that do watch these. I don't want to call them low level fights, but they're not the A plus fighters that you know, get the casuals out of their beds and out for a night on the town. Kansas City, Matt Bent, what up?
What up? TBB for life. Thanks for the Sunday show. Yeah, I watched the Zepeda fight because I did bet him to get the knockout in within 3 rounds. I did two bets, one from 1 to 3, and then one from 1 to 7. So I made some money. Um, I think his style of fighting, he could be competitive, but I don't think he'd beat any of the top fighters because he's your typical come forward, chuck the leather, you know what I mean? Try to block punches with his chin, Mexican fighter. So he's that typical, one-dimensional kind of guy. I take some punches and I'll throw 100, like a Margarito. That's what he reminds me of, like Margarito. But I expect him to get a knockout because I think that kid that he fought was the same kid that got knocked out from Cobra, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Arboleda
So
was knocked out in the 11th round by Christopher Colbert.
I think Cobra can knock you out a guy who says, "Hey, I got no power." I figured Zepeda could get him out of there before 7. Yeah, man. Thanks for the show. That's my call.
All right.
Loving the Sunday show.
Appreciate you, champ. I'm gonna see. I should have made this poll earlier. What's next for Zepeda, right? I mean, obviously, we know they are saying they want to do Mercito. I don't really know what else they got other than Schofield. That would be great if Schofield wanted to step up and ask for that fight, push for that fight, maybe. That'll work. But let me see. We got. Did Mercito even move up in any rankings? I'm looking at our rankings here, and I do not see him, but I'll screen share. We'll do it together. And you guys tell me. Damn, so even with the win over Jojo Diaz, no one put Mercito in their top 15? Am I blind or what? Damn. Okay. That sucks for Mercito. Just wow. Schofield is 8 and Zepeda is 3 in the WBA. Zepeda is 6 in the WBO. Zepeda is 5 in the WBC. So they have him positioned, and that's why they're in no rush. I don't know that they're going to put Schofield and him in with each other so soon because that's the green print. And if they can build them separately, then bring them together, they have their in-house green print. Not much. Not much there for Zepeda. I don't even know, bro. Like, these guys don't belong to Golden Boy. The only thing they got in the WBA rankings is Schofield. That would be a good fight for him. Zaul Abdulayev that Haney fought, and then he went and knocked out Linares. That would not be a half decent fight. That would be a half decent fight. I think, Abdulayev showed power. Obviously, it's Linares that always shows he's got no fucking chin. So you don't really know if it's the power of Abdulayev or it's the no chin of Linares. And that's why I told Bill. I remember Bill calling me. I'm like, bro, don't take that fight, bro. I told him that. I said that if you take that Gamboa and that Linares fight and y'all don't get the knockout, it's a wrap. Fuck. Maxie Hughes is fighting George Kambosos. I mean, could they use Michel Rivera? He was suspended. Would PBC let him go to Golden Boy to get bodied by? Because I think he might get bodied. Based off the way Martin did him, I don't even think he'd last with Zepeda. Zepeda was beating the shit out my man body yesterday. And it wasn't even hooks. It was like straights. He was going straight. Man, shit. He a problem, bro. He throws too many punches. Damn, I don't know who else to put. Because it is... Well, they could have used Giovanni, but there's rumors that he's fighting Pitbull. So, and then Edwin is with PBC. Maybe they use Shoshino? Off the loss, which I want. Y'all like that? Let's fucking put it. We struggling here, right? I mean, we struggling. Let's be real. It's not a lot of options that are not the top. Jeremiah Nakatili is already fighting Jaime Murataya. That's going to be interesting. Angel Fierro. Angel Fierro. That's not a bad fight. None of these names are going to get anybody out their house. I know that. But fuck it. I put them. We got EJ. What up? Gotta unmute, bruv.
Hey, Mass, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about Jermaine Ortiz
versus
Zepeda?
I mean, it's a great fight, but Jermaine just signed with Top Rank, and there's been heavy rumors of him and Keyshawn.
I didn't realize he was with Top Rank. I knew he fought Lomachenko on Top Rank, but I didn't realize he was also a Top Rank fighter.
Yeah, he signed to them.
Yeah, I thought that would be an entertaining fight. Like you said, there really isn't anybody else. It's hard to find a test. I don't think Rosito's a bad fight for now. Like you said, I think you're right. You should just wait it out and see if Devin moves up.
Yeah, because if not, you're going to have to get in there with a Shakur or Frank Martin. The top names, Isaac Cruz, Giovanni Cabrera. Those are the sexy names. Anything else is like,
Yeah, I watched the fight this weekend. I thought he comes forward a lot. He leaves himself open to get hit, so I'm afraid he's not ready for those top names. But I'd like to see him against Jermaine Ortiz or even Pitbull. But yeah, I'm not sure he's even ready for Frank Martin right now.
Yeah, for sure. Because I did see even Arboleda land some nice shots on him. So you're right. Maybe someone a little more skilled could pick him apart. I don't know, though. He seems like he's got a lot of will and obviously high output, and he punches hard.
No, definitely. I just wanted to throw out that suggestion. Since you were struggling to find names, so I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in and keeping the show going. We got Copy Cool. What it do?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What up with you?
Trying to shit, man. Trying to figure out the same question you just asked. Yeah, man. It's 35. 35 is interesting, man. This was a decent fight, I said that showed that you can get off, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, the big names like Shakur and makes sense. But what about what you feel like maybe Gutierrez or that kid that beat up on Bush that 35 pounder?
What Gutierrez? You want him to move up from 30? You talking about Robert?
What? Yeah, why not? That's where Zepeda came from.
I gotta check Zepeda's resume. I thought he was always 35, but Robert has always been weak. Remember, like he only can't punch.
I was thinking about a lot of punches. Like, you go crazy. But how about that kid that beat up on Bush?
Am I thinking about the wrong Gutierrez then? Are you talking about who that just lost to Hector?
Robbie, yeah, for the title.
Bro, that dude don't throw a lot of punches.
I think it would.
Wow, I ain't see that shit. Especially not versus Hector.
Because Hector, remember when him and René fought, when him and René fought, they were bouncing banging. And he looked nasty against Garcia because that's that boxer puncher. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna let you look good. You saw what he did to Colbert. Like that's a dope name. Like you put up Rivera. I mean, Rivera be a decent matchup, and so was Jermaine Ortiz, but I know you say in Top Rank. Yeah, much the only other dude I can think of is that kid that beat up on Bush that I haven't seen in a bit, but I think that'll be a lineup. That kid that beat up on Bush that knocked him out 35.
On Bush, are you saying Burchell?
Yeah.
They knocked out Burchell at 35. He's got to be with Top Rank. Let me see. I don't know. You got to be talking about with Top Rank because Burchell just moved up and it wasn't there. Let me see if I can find him here on BoxRec. Well, they don't have guests on the top 15 of any fucking rankings, but they got him in the top 18 of BoxRec. Put a little man on. Joe, I don't see him. Not even in the top 50. I don't even see him in the top 50, man. But all right, give me a second. Saying the audio is no bueno on YouTube.